hopefully we are in the right place here. Let me just see here. Should be on TikTok. Okay, and hi Twitch, hi Facebook, hi YouTube. Let's hope that it comes out over here. Great. Everything, like the technology has been crazy. I had to do Streamlabs all over again, and I still haven't even fixed it to where it's Streamlabs is crazy, and now Zoom I had to do all over again. Everything is just gone. It's like Mercury in retrograde, right? But okay, so let me get Delphi day 15 and okay, so put that up there. And real quick, because I didn't do the share, I just want to do this quick share out here. It'll take me 2 seconds. Come on in, grab a seat, get a drink, relax for a minute. We just got off of Gypsy. I know it's the night of the election. They still don't know who's won, right? So we can take a break and just hang out. Let's see here. Okay, let me just pop this on Facebook real quick. I'll be 1 second. I'm just about done. So hope everybody had a good day. Gypsy was definitely big bothered today. And let me go here. That. Can't stand when this stuff won't post on Facebook and it drives me crazy. If you want to call in about Delphi, you're more than welcome to call in. If you have something to say, something you want to share, we can do that. They had 3 witnesses on the stand today. The defense did. And I think we're getting very close to them resting their case. Hi, Elle. How are you? You can't stay, but you'll be back soon? Okay. Thanks for coming in, saying hi. All right, let's start this. All right. So day 16. Unbelievable, day 16, right? There was a little blow up with I don't know, I guess the jurors were at one point talking, and they got admonished by the judge and told that if they're talking again, they're going to be thrown out. So I don't know what exactly the talking was, if it was to somebody, if it was to themselves, it was during the thing. Could have been like, do you have a pen? I don't know what. We'll have to look a little more into this, okay? But I know that there was a little bit of a hullabaloo about that, yeah. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. So let's see. There were, I will tell you, there were 4 members of Richard Allen's family in court. His mother, the mother, the half-sister, the stepfather, and his wife, not his daughter. And allegedly when he saw them, he was very happy, and he mouthed wow. There was also big showing for Libby and Abby of all their family members there. Okay, and Okay, so we got to, it's Tuesday. Let's get over here. Tuesday. I believe the first witness was that Betsy Blair. Let me see, because this sometimes is not in the right order. Day 16 began at the Carroll County Courthouse. And all right. I just saw Betsy Blair and then it just went haywire on me. At 9:06 a.m., state prosecutors filed a motion to limine against defense expert Stuart Gracian. Gracian was expected to testify about the effects of solitary confinement on an inmate, but the prosecution's motion is an attempt to limit or prevent evidence, or in this case, a testimony from the jury. It wasn't clear how the judge was going to rule on the motion. Okay, here we are. Janice Allen, Richard Allen's mother, arrived in the courtroom around 9 a.m. She had been out because she was recovering from a fall, so she, from coming into the courthouse last week. Richard Allen entered a few minutes later in a turquoise button-down shirt. Court began at 9 a.m. They filed that motion, like I said. Defense said it had reservations about the timeline of their request, saying that a witness already can't testify to guilty or innocence but can disagree without other testimony. Allen's legal team argues that this could, in this case, handcuff Allen. In response, prosecutors said that they filed the motion because Westcott made a comparison to Allen's innocence in her testimony on Monday. Allen's legal team argued that the motion request is too broad and asked for something that doesn't exist at this point. Judge said that as long as the doctor had been told not to testify inappropriately, they should not have to worry about this. The judge also added that if their witness crosses the line, they will be having a different discussion. Betsy Blair was the first witness the defense called. She was the woman that saw the bridge guy. She said in a question from the defense that the prosecution did not ask her what car she was driving on February 13th, 2017, earlier in the trial. She testified that she went to the trails near the Mononhigh Bridge on February 13th, 2017, and then left after a while. And then she returned to the trails at 1:45, and then she left for good that day for 2:15. She told the court she left the Mears entrance and turned left. She saw one car in the CPS parking lot, and she noticed it, she said, because it was parked weird. It was backed into the parking spot, and its front was pointing towards the county road. She said the car was not a bright color like a red or a yellow, but she said that it reminded her of a car her father had, and that was a Comet. I know, let me see if she gave the year. So I put that down here in my notes. Let's see. A 65 Comet that her dad had, and she noticed the car had sharp angles. Okay, let's see here. Defense attorney Andrew Baldwin asked Blair if it was not a black car. She said she didn't recall. Baldwin handed Blair a statement that she made on April 2nd of 2019. In the statement, she says the car could not have been black, but she was actually reading and from her statement, and she said it was a nondescript in color, and then the prosecution objected, and She said she only saw the side of the car and couldn't tell if it was a hatchback because it was backed into the parking space. And she did draw, a sketch of the profile of the car for police, and that was shown as a defense exhibit, her drawing of the vehicle. And then cross-examination began at 9:30 a.m. Prosecution, Blair told them that she told police on February 13th about the car she saw in the CPS lot. Prosecutor Stacy Diener said that Blair, she told Blair that a similar vehicle had been seen around the same time parked off the road, and asked Blair if that changed her recollection. Blair said she felt certain about the car that she saw. When cross-examination ended, the jury asked Blair 2 questions. Question 1, is it possible that the car at the CPS belonged to someone inside? And her answer was, the building was abandoned. Question 2, do you know if anyone checked to see if that car belonged to an employee? Her answer was, I don't know. The next witness on that stand was Dr. Stuart Gracian. He is a Harvard-educated doctor. He has faculty at the Harvard University School of Medicine for 25 years. He told the court he has a special interest in what solitary confinement does to someone's mental health, and that he has evaluated several hundred people who've been in those conditions. He said that the defense reached out to him about whether solitary confinement played a role in the incriminating statements that Allen was making in prison, those confessions. The doctor was given videos, and he reviewed Westcott's report, Wallace's notes, and several other records. He said he also listened to audio of Allen's phone calls from the Westville Correctional Unit. All the information was from November of 2022 to the spring of 2023. Gracian also said he was given info on Richard Allen's behavior inside Wabash Valley Correctional Facility up to February 2024. They had a sidebar. After the sidebar, the defense attorney, Bradley Rozzi, asked Gracian about solitary confinement in a clinical professional cell. Gracian said that when a person is confined to a small cell, there's limited availability for mental stimulus. He told the court it's toxic for a mental state, and people cannot function. In the worst cases, people can become psychotic. The doctor said that Richard Allen's cell totally met those requirements. The prosecution objected and said she needed more information on the sources that the doctor is pulling this from, and he responded, the United Nations considers anything more than 15 days in solitary confinement torture. Prosecution objected, saying that doesn't apply to the Indiana Department of Corrections, and the judge sustained. The doctor told the jury that solitary confinement can cause behaviors including smearing feces and acting out sexually, and that there's a high rate of taking their own lives. When Rozzi asked about delirium, Gracian described it as a fog with everything floating by and nothing making sense, and it can be caused by internal factors like sepsis or heart failure or external factors. Gracian testified that Richard Allen absolutely displayed symptoms of delirium in his phone calls from jail. And he testified that false memory is a big component in Richard Allen's evaluation. He said false memory begins looking like memory over time. It's like a game of telephone in your brain, and it always starts with, I think I saw. He told the court that Richard Allen's case looked like false memory. Direct questioning ended. Cross-examination began. Gracian said a real memory is extremely perceptual when compared to a fake memory. He added that it was always about the conditions when it came to solitary confinement and protective custody. The prosecution ended, and after a quick mention about conditions by Razi, the jury asked these questions. Question 1. Do you believe psychotic behavior can go back to normal after being removed from solitary confinement? And the answer was yes. Question 2. Do you believe a completely normal person can become psychotic after being in solitary confinement for more than 6 months to a year? The answer was yes. I have seen it happen. The doctor left the stand, and the defense called Dr. Eric Warren. Dr. Warren lives in Memphis. He has a doctorate in biochemistry, and he owns SEP Forensic Consultants, which helps with tool mark identification and crime scene reconstruction. Dr. Warren previously worked for the state of Tennessee as a special agent in firearms, but he left the job to pursue more tool mark work. Dr. Warren says his industry has a critical community with professionals, and said community work can be helpful because it's like peer review. Dr. Warren told the jury that he was asked by Razi to review conclusions made by Melissa Oberg, the former firearms analyst who examined the bullet found by Libby and Abby's body and Richard Allen's gun. Warren explained the process of reviewing Oberg's reports, including her deposition and photographs of the cartridge. He then explained what class, subclass, and individual characteristics are when they come to bullets. Class is general, like the make of a car. Subclass is in between, larger than individual. Individual would be fine details like hair scratches. He mentioned that labs have been shut down over subclass and individual characteristics. Warren said he was shown a 5-minute video of Richard Allen Sig Sauer, but couldn't find anything significant in the video. He then explained the differences between cycling and firing a bullet, and said firing a bullet would make stronger marks. According to Warren, it isn't appropriate to compare a fired cartridge to a cycled cartridge. Apples to apples is what Warren said he would expect, not apples to oranges. Warren confirmed to the jury that Oberg used a fired round to compare the cycled round, to which he said wasn't right, as it isn't repeatable or reproducible. James Luttrell began his cross-examination, asking if Warren was only looking at the report and photos and not the physical evidence would impact his ability to draw conclusions, but Warren disagreed. He said Oberg didn't examine the actual extractor in the gun to determine if there was potential subclass characteristics. Razi then showed Warren a picture of triangular marks on the cartridge, which are ejector marks. He said those were a hallmark of subclass characteristics. Luttrell objected to Razi mentioning a lab that had been shut down over subclass characteristics, but the judge sustained. The two went back and forth on if most labs use CMS, which is an objective identification process. Warren said some labs do not, but he wouldn't classify it as most, but said he would have said there was an insufficient agreement in the cartridges. Court recessed. Let's see. What do we have here? The jury began their questions of Warren. Okay, they've got a lot of questions for this guy. They have 15 questions for him. They wanted to know, how would CMS or objective testing be used when testing a firearm with a change in slide and racking angle? And Warren said it would still need significant agreement. The second question they asked, would removing, cleaning, disassembling change individual characteristics of a firearm? And Warren said no, only if there is some sort of damage. Question number 3. Do you know if a manufacturer keeps track of subclass? Warren says no, they don't. 4. Is there a reason you didn't verify the results of Oberg's test by doing your own test? Warren says, my role here was to educate attorneys on what documentation was and see if it supported the concession. Question 5. Would doing your own analysis been more conclusive? Warren says, hard to say. 6. Is CMS criteria the gold standard? They did not indicate an answer, and that was pooled notes among people that were there. 7 was, are you a certified firearm and tool mark examiner? And Warren said yes, that he was. Question number 8. Would individual markings be different depending on who cycles? And Warren says documentation of Oberg does not support conclusion. Number 9, did you look at the subclass marks of the cartridge? There was no answer for that. 10, what is the relevance of cartridges having similar subclass characteristics? Warren says it depends on if it is from manufacturing or cycling. Question 11, are sequential serial numbers made in the same lot? Warren says it's generally accepted that close serial numbers have parts made at similar times, but they may be in different lots. 12. Are you aware that Oberg's conclusion was unfired by another expert? Warren says yes. 13. Are you aware that Allen's gun ejector was recessed and had similar markings to markings made on the cartridge? Warren says that is common in many guns like it. 14. Is it normal practice to not issue a report when consulting? Warren says yes. 15. What are the chances that the cartridge at the scene matches the test bullets? Warren says higher likelihood of guns just in Indiana. So what are the chances that the cartridge at the scene matches the test bullets? Warren says higher likelihood of guns just in Indiana. All right, let's go back here. All right, the state says the next defense witness is a phone expert, and they request that the 2 previous witnesses who examined Libby's phone be able to sit in the courtroom for rebuttal purposes. The jury is back in the courtroom at 1:52 p.m. The state calls Stacy Eldred. Eldred is an expert in computer information management. Wait a minute. So did they had Blair? They had Warren. Okay, I'm sorry. I think I said they had 3 witnesses. There's 4. Very sorry. There's 4 today. I don't know why I said 3. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's see. So they have this Stacy Eldridge. Eldridge is an expert in computer information management. She worked for the FBI for nearly 10 years as a forensic examiner and later a senior examiner. She also worked as an instructor on digital evidence. Eldridge said she left the FBI and she's now a licensed private detective in Nebraska. She tells the jury she used to have a license in Celebrite, the software that's used to forensically examine cell phones. She says that she's a consultant now and an adjunct at 2 universities. She tells the jury that she has testified 3 times for the government and owns a business called Silicon Prairie Cyber Services. She tells the jury the defense is paying her $300 per hour to testify. She says she has worked 65 hours in examination for this case and 15 hours prepping for testimony. Eldred said she reviewed the October 2017 cell phone extraction as well as the Celebrite report and the report from Chris Cecil. She said she reviewed Cecil's deposition. She tells the jury that ISP used Celebrite, Axiom, and other forensic tools to examine Libby's phone. Eldred said she primarily used Axiom and used 2 others. She explains to the jury that every tool can do the work a little differently or display it differently. She tells the jury that an extraction is getting all of the data off a phone so you can examine it later. Eldridge said everything she examined came from ISP. She says there are 3 level 6 extractions that you can do. Each one of them pulls different amounts of info. Eldred explained that logical extraction covers the basic user information, and that's what Libby's phone had in early 2017. Eldred said ISP had the capacity in early 2017 to do a full extraction of Libby's phone, but only did it in October of that year. She tells the jury that this caused issues and caused the loss of a specific piece of data called the current power log. She tells the jury that the log only stays saved in between a phone being turned all the way off and on. Eldridge said the log can also say if the phone went into airplane mode. She said her priority was figuring out what was going on with the phone at 4:34 a.m. on February 14th to make the phone receive multiple text messages. The judge called for a sidebar after the prosecution said they had not examined an exhibit that was showing Eldridge's report on Libby's phone database. First, they said they have not examined the exhibit, and then they said they have no objection. Eldred left the witness stand and goes to a screen showing the report. She explains many of the columns and rows, and the exhibit is similar to an Excel spreadsheet. Eldred said she generally agrees with the state's expert examination of the timeline of Libby's phone, but there are things she does not agree with. She says she does not agree with some of the text calls and FaceTimes that were delivered between February 13th and February 14th. Eldridge said there were times on the 13th and the 14th that the phone was not connected to a cell tower, and she says the last time it was connected on the 13th was at 5:45 p.m., and it reconnected at 4:33 a.m. on the 14th. She told the jury that she reviewed cell phone pings from AT&T historical precision location logs. The state objects and points out that Eldred does not have the training on the network capability in Carroll County. They say the log is incomplete and Eldred is not qualified. Defense attorney Jennifer Auger says the page admitted into evidence is the one pertinent to the investigation, but there are several hundred more. The judge admits the exhibit over the state's objection. Eldred said that some of those messages did have timestamps in between the 2 times, but they weren't delivered. She says voicemail between the 2 times were not delivered until February 17th. Auger asks Eldred to explain what a ping is. She says it's a technical way to have one device see if another device is there. She says AT&T is repeatedly trying to ping Libby's phone after 5:45 p.m. on February 13th, but it's not successful until 4:33 a.m. on February 14th. Eldred said she doesn't know why the phone did not ping in that time frame, even though it was under Abby's back and was stationary. She says, I can only conclude something external happened to the phone, that it could have been moved, blocked by metal, or have been blocked from the tower. Eldred is asked about the phone's health data. She says she agrees with what Cecil found about the data on the steps. She says iPhones will not log steps if you're in a car or if the phone is powered off. Eldred said she knows that at 5:44 p.m. on February 13th to 10:32 p.m. that night that the phone had wired headphones plugged in. She demonstrates headphones being plugged into an iPhone 6S. She says it could also have been an auxiliary cord for a car that was plugged into the phone. I cannot think of any explanation that does not involve humans, she told the jury. Eldred said that right before the headphones were plugged in, there was an incoming call. She says the headphones would have stopped that call. At 3:09 p.m., prosecutor Nick McLeland starts cross-examination. He asked Eldred about her training on cell phone extraction. She says this is the first time she has testified about cell phone extraction other than in July. She tells the jury she got a rough location on where the bodies were found and where the phone was found. She said she did not go to the crime scene. Eldred said she did not review every bit of info gathered by Cecil and focused most on health data. She says she did review the bridge guy video and agreed with the video's timestamp and the GPS location. She said she did not examine it enough to know the GPS location changed 4 seconds into the video. Eldred explains that there has to be up and down movement to track motion by the phone, but she says the phone would not have logged it if it were in a car. She says she did not find evidence that the phone had been turned off. She says the phone was in and out of service before 5:45 p.m. on February 13th. She said it could be an explanation that Libby's phone was just hopping in and out of service and got service at 4:33 a.m. on February 14th. McLeland asked Eldred if the phone would have had to be moved to plug in headphones. He asks if it could have registered the health data. Eldred said that could be the case, but she did not test that. She says there also could have been a signal blocker, like metal in a building. On redirect, Eldred said she reviewed the most important information in the number of hours she had. Auger asks her if the FBI ever did a drive study, which is a study that includes driving around to see what signal you get in what places. Auger asks if the FBI knew how to do this in 2017, and Eldred says theoretically. Eldred told the jury that in order to plug in an auxiliary cable in, the phone would have to be moved. She said the phone would not have had to log movement if it was powered off after 4:33 a.m. At 3:35, McLeland started cross-examination again. Eldred said that it takes a little bit of movement for a phone to start logging movements. The jury asked the following questions. Did you ever write your own timeline? Eldred said no, not enough time. They asked number 2, could any of this be related to Libby's iPad? Eldred said they were not synced. Question 3, would water impact movement? Eldred said no, that water would not impact the port. Question 4, can you tell if the phone was on silent or vibrate? Eldred said no. 5, could you review Allen's historical location timeline? If he was using a Ting phone, she says she could if it was available. 6, are there other apps that measure movement? She says yes, but did not look to see if Libby had them. Okay, at 4:07, this is when the jury got scolded by the judge. Judge Gull starts off by scolding the jury. She said that officers informed her of people in the jury talking and says anyone talking will be kicked out. And I am very, very sorry because I'm really messing up today. There's 5, 6 witnesses. I don't know what I was thinking when I said that there were 3. There's 6. Sorry, so we've got some more here. Defense calls the first sergeant, Chris Cecil from ISP. Defense attorney Jennifer Auger asks Chris Cecil what an audio output start means. He says he doesn't know. Cecil says he doesn't have the education to know why a cell phone would or would not connect to a tower. McLeland begins cross-examination at 4:08. Cecil said he Googled the water question asked by the jury before the break. He said a Google search said that a phone could register water or dirt in the headphone port as having headphones plugged in. That's interesting, because if it was under her back, and yeah. Auger begins redirect and asks Cecil, do you normally Google search when conducting research in criminal investigations? Cecil says, no, not normally. Auger asks, you normally look at peer-reviewed articles, right? Cecil says, that's correct. Auger asks, you and the state have had 7.5 years to research this? That's correct, Cecil responds. The defense then calls Brian Bunner, a lieutenant with the Indiana State Police, and Auger asks, do you know what audio output means? Bunner says no. She then asks, have you done any Google searches? He says no. Defense says nothing further, and there's no cross, and that was it. The jury left at 4:25, and they'll be back on. Let's see. Okay, so that was that. Let me get over there and see what you guys are talking about. Hold on, I'm waiting. Hold on, this is not. Why is this not connecting up? Let me see if I'm over here. Aha. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Oh boy. Okay. Hi, Alyssa. Hi, White Angel. Hello, Kevin Leonard. Hi, everybody. Margot. Hi. So that was today. I think everybody is glued to election coverage. Huh? I think that's where everybody is, election coverage. Not too many people caring about Delphi right now, huh? I don't think so, and it wasn't really a very eventful day in the courtroom either. I don't think. Besides the jurors getting in trouble. Hold on, let me go over here. Maybe we should just do an election coverage. Yeah, I bet. Okay, so in regards to Delphi, I was watching, just cannot believe the people that are attacking the families, the creators that are attacking the families, and just some very large creators getting together, and they're the ones that are like just horrendous. Should we take a poll? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't want to get... Politics is so divisive, Alyssa. It is so divisive. I've seen people that are friends break out into horrible fights over politics, or people that wouldn't care anything about any of them. They're willing to lose friendships and families and everything. It's horrendous. Yeah, the family is being attacked. And believe it or not, it's like by some like very big creators, some attorneys, and it's horrendous. Yep. Let's see what else is going on. Let me see what else is going on in this world. Shoot. Hold on a minute. My computer's being a little jerk. My computer really is being a little jerk the way it wanted me to reinstall Zoom, reinstall Streamlabs. Now it's being a little jerk about something else. Oh my goodness. I want to do some crafts. Okay, hold on. Trying to get my computer back. There you can hear the life support sound. That's always interesting to hear, right? Okay. Wow. All right, let me see if I can get on here now. See what's going on in this world. All right. Okay. A national grocery chain just recalled 6 types of cheese. Oh, good. The power of cheese. Chauncey Glover, KCBS and KCAL news anchor, dies. Huh. Let's see. 5 killed when small jet crashes into vehicle after taking off in suburban Phoenix. Huh. Bread recall. Oh my goodness. Bread and cheese recalled. Isn't that crazy? All right, let's see what else we have. My goodness. My goodness. Let's see here. I wonder why I'm not seeing any of the, I guess maybe because of, let me look over here. Just seeing cheese recalls. Okay. You don't want to hear bread and cheese? Oklahoma mom gave toddler daughter to her drug dealer. That's great. That's really great. gave him to her drug dealer. And what did her drug dealer do with him? Or her? Her, obviously. Wonderful. It's always amazing that these people are on so many drugs and yet their fertility is not affected, right? Do you find that baffling? Right? And all the things that, like, mothers worry about taking, oh my gosh, this is going to affect my baby, and then these people here are like full out on drugs and it doesn't affect their fertility and they're having these babies, and wow. Okay, let's see what happened to the toddler. Unbelievable. She's 39 years old. She's been charged with child abandonment. The girl hasn't been seen since the transfer more than 2 years ago. Oh my gosh. How did they just find about this now? All right. Let us see. Court documents say that the Oklahoma Department of Human Services attempted to take the child in April of 2023, but she could not be found. The agency contacted Roland in Moore, and she told them the girl was with her father in Georgia. How do we know she didn't kill the child and the child is somewhere and she said it's with her drug dealer? This is crazy. Hold on. More police say they were searching for the girl, who would be 5 years old now, but they couldn't release the child's name or provide a photograph. Roland was being held on a $3,000 bond at a jail in Oklahoma City. That is the piss poor reporting I've ever seen. Okay, how do we even know what she's? Oh my gosh. Why even print that and not even have any details in it? Oh my gosh. And not even a photograph or anything of the child, so... ridiculous. Something doesn't sound right there at all. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I think that Mercury is definitely in retrograde, or there's something with technology. So I can't even get back to the live. Nothing is even coming up. I don't know. I think this election might be throwing the internet off, or I don't know what's going on. Oh my goodness. Well, if you can hear me, I'll just talk to you until this comes back up. I don't even know if I'm still online. I hope I am. So there's clicking on and off on the bottom of my computer. Okay, hang on. It's just so dumb that this will not. It's really dumb. Really dumb. Oh, come on. I don't even have a lot of windows open. I don't. But just... I'm going to say here, let me shut all of these down. Shut. Oh. Come on. Okay, let me see. All right. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. I'm so sorry. I don't think many people are here anyway, but I feel sorry for the ones that are here and that you're waiting for me to do this. I don't know how this news anchor died. Let me see. So it says Chauncey Glover, a news anchor at the television stations in Los Angeles, KCBS and KCAL, has died at the age of 39. The cause of death has not been released. We, Sherry and Robert Glover, along with Chauncey's beloved family, are devastated by the unimaginable loss of our beloved Chauncey. He was more than a son and a brother. He was a beacon of light in our lives and a true hero to his community. Chauncey's compassion and dedication to helping others, especially through the Chauncey Glover Project, changed countless lives and inspired so many young men to pursue their dreams. His talent, warmth, and vision left an imprint on everyone who knew him, and the world is dimmer without him, the family said in a statement. A native of Athens, Alabama, Glover co-anchored with Pat Harvey on both of the dual poly stations and alongside Susie, I think it's Sue, on KCAL, according to his official profile page. Glover joined KCAL News in October of 2023 after working at KABC TV sister station KTRK TV in Houston for 8 years. At KTRK, he started as the weekend morning anchor and was promoted in 2018 to the main evening anchor role. Chauncey Glover is seen in an undated photo. Let's see. He was bitten by the news bug. Let me put his picture up there. At the age of 5, when his dad built him his very own mini anchor desk for his newscast that he would perform for his family every Sunday after church. His KTRK biography said he later studied broadcast journalism, music, and theater at Alabama's Troy University. Chauncey notably created a mentorship program for young men. He started the Chauncey Glover Project, dedicated to teaching young men acts of kindness and leadership. The CGP proudly sent more than 350 boys to college and mentored more than 1,000 young men. Before his tenure in Houston, he worked at WDIV in Detroit, Michigan, WTVM in Columbus, Georgia, and CBS 47 and Fox 30 in Jacksonville, Florida. Chauncey studied broadcast journalism, music, and theater at Troy University. Glover was the recipient of 3 Emmys, among other professional awards. Oh boy, I wonder what happened. All right, let's see here. Cheese sold at Aldi and other stores being recalled over listeria risk. Let me see what it is. A recall from Savencia Cheese, USA. It affects several brands of soft ripened cheeses. Okay, so it says the FDA shared a list of recalled cheeses including Aldi Emporium Selection Brie Cheese, Supreme Oval Brie, La Bonne Vie Brie, La Bonne Vie Camembert, Market Basket Brie, Glenview Farm Spreadable Brie. To determine if your Brie or Camembert is part of the recall, check the list of product labels provided. Okay, so just, be careful. The cheese sold at Aldi and other stores. Very careful. Mercury found in tins of tuna described as colossal risk to public health. Yikes. All right. Let me go back and now see if I can find you guys because I think, everything's shut down. So let me go. I have to. Okay, cheese. Yeah. Let me see if I can open up a new YouTube and find you there. Go to my channel. Okay. Content. Live. Here I am back. Okay. Do they know if the baby is alive? No, they don't. I don't even know it, and I don't even think they should have put it in there because they had such no information. It was ridiculous. They don't even say why, like they're believing she's with the drug dealer. Yeah, it's just terrible. I don't know. It's just nuts. I don't know. I don't know. All right, let me just hang on 1 second. Emmy is a girl. A woman. She is a woman now. Girl, you're a woman now. All right, let me see what else we've got going on now that I can actually navigate around here. Alrighty. All right, let me see. All right, let me go back to I don't know where I just was. I was over here trying to look at something. And I kind of... Okay, I was just looking at something. All right, let me go back to... All right, where is the... I'm looking for over here. So let me see if I can find anything else out on that. Maryland woman charged after calling 911 to report she killed her mother. Oh boy. Killed her mother. A Maryland woman has been charged with first-degree murder after she apparently called police Monday morning and told them she killed her mother. Tiffany Sang, 29, told dispatchers that she killed her mother, 63-year-old. I can't even pronounce her name. In Gathersburg home in a grass field. Officers arrived at the home and they found Tiffany waiting for them outside. They located the body of her mother and she was pronounced dead at the scene. An autopsy will determine the cause and manner of death. Police did not say anything about a motive. Well, they're really not filling in a lot of the stories along with this, huh? Florida woman shot dead on the side of the road. A 20-year-old woman found shot to death off of a roadway in Melbourne was killed in a targeted attack. A Nebraska toddler boy was found locked in a cage. Nebraska police arrested 5 people on Monday after a boy younger than 3 was reported discovered in a locked cage. Oh my gosh. Oh, the burn, you know about the Melanie Ferris thing, right? Georgia mother kills and burns renowned attorney husband in fire pit and blames her son. Yeah, she was found guilty. I mentioned that the other night. I don't know if anybody was listening or heard. Let's see. Be on the lookout. Texas mom allegedly tries to sell her newborn on Facebook. Texas mother has been charged with trying to sell her newborn over social media. Court documents say the Houston Police Department began an investigation on September 23rd after receiving a report that 21-year-old Juniper Bryson tried to sell her newborn. And you know what? That newborn, crazy. Oh boy. On Facebook, the report said Bryson had asked a family member if she knew any families looking to adopt 2 days earlier. She reportedly told the relative the baby would test positive for drugs and that she was unable to keep them. Then she posted on a Facebook group that supposedly connected expectant mothers with potential adopters, saying she was in Houston but could travel if arrangements could be made. She gave birth on September 24th with someone supposedly interested in adopting present at the hospital during the labor. Bryson was waiting for the highest bidder before finalizing any adoption agreement. Court documents say that Bryson was seeking to be paid for the baby, and messages with potential adoptive parents. A couple from Louisiana told investigators they were 3.5 hours into their trip after sending Bryson money for food for the baby. When she asked for another $150, she blocked them when they balked. They unblocked them to say if the baby wasn't worth $200 to them, then screw all. Okay, Wendy Williams says she was the one that was at the hospital when the baby was born. Bryson had not asked her for money, she said, and they signed legal documents signing the baby over to Williams and her husband. Meanwhile, Bryson posted to Facebook that she found a home for the baby, tagging Williams, who started getting ugly comments. "How dare you sell this baby," they wrote to Bryson. And then they were tagging me, "How dare you buy this baby?" When she asked Bryson about it, still at the hospital, Williams said Bryson had the nurse throw her out of the room. Williams said she contacted CPS, which brought the police in. Before Bryson was taken away in handcuffs, Williams said she revoked the custody of the child she signed over. Bryson is being held on $30,000 bond in the Harris County Jail. And what about the baby? Nothing. They don't say a darn thing about it. Oh, and the mother. This was the mother. Crazy. Hold on a minute. Okay, so let me see here with this. Now I'm going to check something else. Colorado man. Let's look at this. Colorado man was arrested for allegedly murdering his mother weeks after he allegedly choked a police officer. Michael Fuller was arrested on Friday, November 1st for allegedly murdering his 71-year-old mother, Toni Fuller. So she was 41 when she had him. She was 41 years old when she had him. Okay, and let's see. A man was arrested for allegedly killing his mother weeks after he assaulted a police officer in Loveland. And what a name, right? Loveland, Colorado. Michael Fuller, 30 years old, was arrested November 1st at 8 p.m. His arrest followed a 7 p.m. welfare check on Toni Fuller at her home in the Foothills Drive. The caller was Toni's daughter, who said she was worried after she couldn't reach her mother. When they arrived, police allegedly found Michael in the residence and a woman lying on the floor inside. Officers tried to get Michael to step outside to speak with them. The authorities then entered the home and found that the woman was dead. Larimer County coroner identified the woman as 71-year-old Toni Fuller, who died of a blunt and sharp force injuries. Her death was ruled a homicide. Michael was booked into the Larimer County Jail. He was charged with first-degree murder, tampering with physical evidence, and violating a protection order. He's being held on a $10 million cash-only bond. Anyone with information about this case is asked to call the Loveland Police Department tip line at 970-962-2032. Court records note that Toni was Michael's mother. In June of 2022, Toni's husband filed for a protection order for both of them, alleging that their son had become physically abusive after using drugs and alcohol. Michael's father also installed door locks in their bedrooms and alleged that threats of violence is always there. Well, where is the father now? Weeks before Michael's November 1st arrest, he was taken into custody for threatening a woman at Namaqua Park in Loveland on Wednesday, October 9th. At the time, officers arrived at the park around 3 p.m. after learning the woman who was walking her dog by the park river was allegedly being yelled at by Michael for allegedly not having a cigarette when he asked for one. He allegedly threatened to kill her and her dog. He also allegedly threw a beer bottle and a large rock at them. She tried to get away, but didn't want to leave her dog behind. Police said Michael got closer before the woman sprayed pepper spray towards his face and went into the river. Once officers arrived on the scene, Michael and the alleged victim were in the water. Officers asked him multiple times to get out of the water. He appeared to be intoxicated and was slow to comply. Officers attempted to use a BOLA wrap, a remote restraining device, on him, but the attempt was unsuccessful. A few moments later, officers BOLA wrapped him again, and upon officer contact, the male began to physically fight with officers in the water. Michael then allegedly grabbed an officer's neck in an attempt to pull him underwater as he was getting arrested. He allegedly continued to resist and injured another officer. Wow. He was then charged with multiple counts, including second-degree assault on a police officer, felony menacing, resisting arrest, per the Larimer County Jail. His bond was set at $250. $250? And he was released after posting the bond on October 14th. Wow, that's crazy. $250. And then he killed his mother. Remember there was a baby in Florida? She was just taken out of the crib and that was never solved. Never. Let's see. Well, I know what I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about that trial that's going on. That one that it was the first day I had taken something to talk about that and I forgot about that. Okay. That's in South Carolina. Let's see. Craig Lewis, South Carolina versus Craig Lewis. That's it. Okay, so here is the woman who, I mean, this is a horrific case, absolutely horrific. The trial of Craig Anthony Lewis, who stands accused of murdering his wife nearly 6 years ago, is finally set to begin. It began today in Colton County, South Carolina, and that's what I said. It's in the Walterboro Courthouse, the same one that Murdaugh was tried in. And Vinky and I went right through there, and we went through at night. Wanted to take a picture, but it was nighttime. Okay. We didn't go there on the way back. And I don't know why, how we came through that way and we didn't go back that way. I don't know. It's always weird. I always come in one way and go out another. Lewis is accused of setting his wife on fire following a violent fight at their home in Walterboro, South Carolina, on the evening of January 16th, 2019. Terry Lewis suffered third-degree burns over 38% of her body, and I wonder if I covered this back in 2019. Doctors told family members they were unsure she would survive even the first 48 hours, that the burns were so severe that even if she pulled through, she would require at least a year of rehab and would likely never be 100% independent again. Against all odds, Terry survived her initial injuries, albeit not without numerous setbacks and scares. She dealt with respiratory issues, temperature spikes, infections, fluctuating oxygen levels. When doctors were finally able to begin the process of slowly lifting her sedation, her daughter, Lee Ann Kroenke, said her mother began experiencing terrifying visions, screaming, "Die, biatch, die," over and over again. It was only when Terry's sedation was finally lifted that she was able to detail what happened to her on the night she was burned. At that point, a detective was brought in to take a recorded statement. Leanne was asked to leave the room to avoid any conflicts, and Terry was taken off of any medication that might impair her judgment. Leanne sat outside the room while a close friend sat with Terry, who told the investigator the graphic details of what transpired. Leanne shared the story Terry told the officers. According to her mother, she and Craig Lewis fought that day. Terry told Craig she was leaving him, and he proceeded to beat her violently. She persisted despite this abuse, telling him that she wanted a divorce. At that point, Craig allegedly told Terry if he couldn't have her, he would see to it that no one else did either. Craig then pushed Terry down, slammed her to the floor, and violently arred her. Terry managed to get up, was trying to escape from the house when, according to her statement, Craig allegedly threw a red rag or a shirt that was lit on fire at her. Terry said she flung it to the floor, but Lewis kept placing it back on her until she caught on fire. After she fell down with flames licking around her, Terry said Craig stepped on her hand, crushing it while she burned, saying, "Die, biatch, die." Craig Lewis was charged on January 31st, 2019 with first-degree arson and domestic violence of a high and aggravated nature. He got a local attorney and State Senator Margie Bright Matthews as his defense attorney. On February 1st, 2019, a Colton County magistrate denied bond and ordered Lewis to be held in the Colton County Jail. On February 6, 2019, one count of attempted murder and several counts of resisting arrest, resulting in injury of officers, was added to the charges Craig Lewis is facing. After Terry detailed the incident to investigators, third-degree SA charges were also added. Lewis's bond hearing was scheduled on February 19, 2019 at the Colton County Courthouse in front of the South Carolina Circuit Court Judge Carmen Mullen. Daughter Leanne attended the hearing on behalf of her mother and recalled watching Mullen and Matthews joking and laughing hysterically prior to it commencing. She remembered thinking it seemed as though the two were best friends. Okay, so this is the judge and the state senator as his defense attorney. They were laughing, right? As old friends, the judge and the defense attorney. Okay, so let's see. As they were best friends, but her focus wasn't on them. It was on making sure the man accused of nearly killing her mother stayed behind bars. Prior to his arrest, Craig Lewis had many prior run-ins with the law. He had numerous charges and convictions. With his criminal history, no real ties to the community, and plenty of available cash, Leanne felt confident the court would keep him where she felt he belonged, behind bars. And then Mullen granted him a $100,000 surety bond along with an ankle monitor. That's when the daughter's jaw dropped, that he would be able to get out. Craig Lewis was about to be a free man, while her mother, whom he allegedly tried to burn alive, was fighting for her life. Leanne and her children were frightened and confused. Shortly after his release on bond, the nurses at the burn unit in Atlanta, where Terry Lewis was sent for specialized treatment, hung a picture of Craig Lewis in the unit to make sure that everyone knew who he was and knew that he was not allowed anywhere near her. A week later, on February 26, 2019, Craig Lewis posted bond using Benji's bail bonding in Walterboro. As she continued to recover, Terry was sent to a skilled nursing facility in Charleston, South Carolina. According to her daughter Leanne, with help, she could take a few steps and very messily feed herself, but Terry hated looking at herself in the mirror and lived in fear every single day. She told Leanne that she knew her husband would never go to jail and that he would eventually come back to finish the job. Though she could no longer remember all the details of that horrific night, she could still remember burning red fabric being thrown at her repeatedly and him telling her if he couldn't have her, no one would. Terry began to rapidly decline in August and September of 2019. And her condition worsened significantly that October. Leanne recalled her mother as having several days of lucidity where we could talk like nothing ever happened. Terry still couldn't walk, stand, or even turn over in the bed by herself. Sometimes she couldn't even feed herself. She began refusing medications, food, and liquid. She was declining quickly, and her daughter said she made the heartbreaking decision to accept her mother's wishes and no feeding tubes, no more intervention. The goal was just to keep her happy during her final days, and she passed away on November 1st of 2019 from pneumonia and complications from her burns. Her death was listed as a homicide. So this is 5 years, huh? While awaiting resolution of the criminal charges filed against Craig Lewis, Terry's family was forced to fight legal battles on multiple fronts. When she was hospitalized, Terry's family waged a fierce court battle, costing almost $10,000 to prevent her accused killer, who remained her legal guardian and conservator, from controlling her finances and her medical decisions. Lewis and his attorney, Senator Matthews, fought to retain those rights in court. On December 23, 2019, 2 months after Terry's death, a motion was filed in the Colton County Probate Court on behalf of Terry Lewis requesting a special administrator be appointed due to the fact that there were pending criminal charges against one of the heirs of the estate. The motion was approved by the former probate judge, Ashley Amundson. On March 12, 2020, a Colton County grand jury indicted Craig Lewis on the charge of first-degree murder in addition to the other charges he was facing. Once again, he stood before the Judge Mullen, and once again, Senator Matthews stood by his side as his defense attorney. Despite the severity of the new charges he was facing, he walked into the courtroom on his own volition. More shocking to Leanne, he walked out of the courtroom a free man again, with Mullen refusing to modify the terms of his bond. Leanne was shocked after Craig Lewis allegedly beat, arred, and set her mother on fire that ultimately caused Terry's death. Leanne watched him walk free a second time. The same day Craig Lewis was charged with murder, Senator Matthews, the lawyer legislator representing him, extended a mortgage to him on 273 Wade Hampton Avenue, the location of the attack against his late wife, and a residence he co-owned with her. 8 months later, on November 19th of 2020, parties to the case found themselves back in court to discuss the sale of the home and to agree on some of the additional final details. All parties to the case agreed the home should be sold. On September 25th, 2020, appraisal by Travis Avant of Compass South valued their home at $95,000. According to the appraisal, the property's value had declined due to the damage caused by the home being unoccupied following Craig's incarceration and Terry's death. A surprise motion amending this agreement was filed by Sharice Brockington, the special administrator assigned to this case. This sounds like a lot of corruption. Oh my gosh. On November 24th, 2020. In her order, Brockington stated that Craig Lewis had executed a mortgage in favor of his attorney in the amount of $135,000 on March 12, 2020, the same day he was indicted for murder. The loan was ostensibly tied to his need for financial resources to pay for his legal defense in relation to the death of his wife. Brockington filed the motion to ensure that in the event the property was sold, that 50% belonging to the estate of Terry Lewis was not used to satisfy any mortgage extended by Senator Matthews. The family of Terry Lewis waited nearly 6 years for the trial of the man accused of murdering her. Craig Lewis case is among the oldest open cases in South Carolina's 14th Judicial Circuit, part of the Palmetto State, which has come under significant scrutiny due to the murders, crime, and corruption saga. And in this trial today, and I was listening to it, and I believe it was someone for the defense was questioning a police officer and saying, oh, yes, we used to go back and forth, didn't we? And she mentioned Murdaugh. As with anyone accused of committing any crime, Lewis is considered innocent until proven guilty, of course, right? The trial will be presided over by Judge Mullen. Is scheduled to begin November 4th. It began today, just over 5 years after Terry's death and almost 6 years after Leanne Kroenke received a call that her mother was hospitalized. Though justice has been a long and difficult process, Leanne remains hopeful. We can finally have the closure, and I pray we have justice as well. So I don't know how that's going to go because, let's see, there is opening statements. See what that was like. Okay. South Carolina man standing trial. This is him. Let me see if I can get his picture up here. Somebody said, I believe it was Margot, that she thought he looked like John Candy. Okay. I think he almost looks like not John Candy, but that other guy that used to host that I always think is dead, Louis Anderson. And is he dead? Is Louis Anderson dead? I don't know why I always think Louis Anderson is dead. Okay. Craig Anthony Lewis is 47 years old, and he is charged with murder, arson, and domestic violence in the death of his wife, Terry Lewis. Police say Craig assaulted his wife over 2 days, beginning on January 16, 2019, in documents that say Craig hit her with personal weapons and the butt of a firearm shotgun, breaking the weapon over her hip. Terry was bleeding and had trouble walking. The next day, January 17th, police say Craig lit his wife on fire inside their home in an attempt to kill her. The front of Terry's body suffered severe burns, and she succumbed to her injuries 10 months later. Terry's daughter, Leanne Kroenke, said that her mother began fighting with Craig on January 17th because Terry told him she was leaving. The argument allegedly turned physical, and Terry said that Craig violently arred her before throwing a rag or a shirt lit on fire at her. Terry said that when she tried to throw the rag away, Craig would throw it back until it caught fire and finally stepping on her hand and crushing it. Despite a criminal history and prior convictions, Craig was granted a $100,000 surety bond with an ankle monitor at a bond hearing and has been free ever since. So let's see here. Okay. Let's see if I can get to this. Oh, I think I know what's going on. Okay. All right. So, let's see what the opening statements were like. Terry Lewis's daughter, Leanne, now she's Leanne Kellum, not Kroenke, shared a written statement she compiled years after the incident, dealing with her grief and preparing for trial where she is expected to be a witness. I received the worst phone call I could ever get. He said I needed to come home because Mom had gotten burned. I was confused, and he said they were at the ER and it was bad. I still didn't know what I was walking into. Deputies say that Craig Lewis took his wife to the Colton Medical Center on the day of the fire, but later that same day went back to the home where she was transported to a burn center in Georgia. Deputies who went to the home found Craig Lewis hosing down the driveway, and they noticed a couch was missing. Officials say during that visit, Lewis attacked 3 deputies. One suffered a shoulder injury, another a sprained wrist, and the third a cut hand. Mom was on the way to the burn ICU, and without a word to anyone, he went home to clean the driveway and remove a couch. I also learned that he had changed her clothes, or helped her change, whatever the case may be, and those removed clothes were missing too. Incident reports later say investigators found evidence at the house that did not match the story. They later found the couch and clothes in another location and entered them into evidence. Immediately after the incident, Craig Lewis faced arson, attempted murder, and resisting arrest charges. Judge Carmen Mullins set his bond at $100,000, and he posted the money in February of 2019. I went to Walterboro for this hearing. I was so hopeful at this point this would be a good judge that would see this case and surely not give Craig bond. So it doesn't sound like he's her father. $100K and an ankle monitor, and he walked, and that was a lot to take in, but there was nothing I could do. In March of 2020, months after Terry Lewis died from her injuries, a grand jury indicted Craig Lewis on murder. But his bond did not change, and he continued on house arrest with the conditions of no contact with the victim's family, and he was allowed to work as a truck driver delivering from Florida to New York. He never even got cuffed this time. He walked into court, was told the bond remained in place, and he walked out, no charges. The daughter compiled her thoughts to make sure her mother's story would be told no matter how long it took. 5 years after her mother's death, Kellum said she's still waiting for justice and has been disappointed so far with the proceedings. Let's see. The motion to compel evidence asks that state prosecutors turn over all evidence they plan to use at trial to the defense. The document is 6 pages long and mentions the 911 call, tape, Craig Lewis's phones and data, multiple lighters, fluid cans, log, firewood, burnt substances, the couch with burned sections, a cigarette lighter, swabs from the living room, and a dash cam on Craig Lewis's arrest. The motion to continue, sent October 31st and filed on November 1st, asked the court to move the trial back based on the evidence. The motion says the state produced highly prejudicial statements from the state's key witness. Let's see. Counsel for the state referenced numerous pieces of evidence that were submitted to SLED but not yet tested. The filing goes on to say if the state did not test certain evidence, the defense deserves time to independently test certain items. The filing says the state has the clothes from Terry Lewis and Craig Lewis, but has not tested them. The defense believes testing them would be exculpatory. The filing goes on to say that the state shares notes from a witness interview that referenced incidents the defense needs time to investigate themselves. The parties spent the majority of November 4th arguing their positions on the motion to continue, and the judge ruled to proceed with the case. Jury selection took place after the motion hearings, and opening arguments are scheduled for November 5th at 10 a.m., which was today. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so yeah, I mean, we were watching some of that today, but yeah, I know Murdaugh was mentioned. Let me just see here. Okay, I think everybody is, you had the worst. Oh, really? Sorry to hear that, UHP. I'm glad you never did anything. I think I'm going to end here because I think everybody else is kind of consumed with other things, which I can imagine what they are. Let me just see something here. Maybe we'll do the word puzzle first, and then Right. Okay. All right, let me get over here and do the word puzzle. Word cookies. Please keep that family member that I told you about last night in your prayers, because there's more testing tomorrow morning. So appreciate the good thoughts and prayers. Thank you. Okay. Now I want to just go to the daily. Thank you. Oh, let's see. Style. Yeah, I thought. Oh, wait a minute. I put it. Hold on a minute. I have sty in there. Like that. Yeah, yet. Oh, yet is one. Let me see. Okay, and yes, that would be one. Okay, and then let's see. Oh, set. Hold on a minute. And I tried that feisty. I know it didn't work either way. have it's in there. I have all that. What's the matter, Bree? What in the world is what in the world is what? What's the matter, Bree? What's going on? What's got your feathers in a ruffle? Why don't you enlighten us? Didn't I put, there's not two S's. I mean, stat. Okay, looks like Bree's got, she's perplexed. She's having an issue. She's having an issue. What's the matter, Bree? You having an issue? Cat got your tongue? Yeti. There we go. What happened to Bree? She got scared. Did you get scared, Bree? You got scared from a word game? Aw. That's terrible. Bree got scared out of a word game. Did you really? So sorry, Bree, that you got scared about a word game. It's terrible. What's going on?
You don't know, but it doesn't look good. Okay.
That's what it is. Bottom deal.
Huh?
Okay, so let's see. Oh, poor Bree got so upset. What's the matter with Bree, Kevin? Bamboos. Bamboos like that? I don't think so, but think so? Bamboos. Okay. That was weird. Why did booms? Did I do boom? Yeah. Why can't Bree be a big girl? I always love it. They have the they come in to say something, but then when you question them on it, they can't stand up, right? Isn't that funny? They're so big and bad and tough. Bamboo, right? Okay. Bamboo. Yeah. Bobs. Bobs for apples, right? Okay, and let's just try to get this last one over here. How about no? Mobs. I got it, and Bree still can't be a big girl. Aw, poor Bree. That's sad that you had a day and days. It was a wash because you made a dash. And burned up like an ash. Excuse me. And acted like what sounds like an ash. Because you saw has it was shady. Sure was. All the way. And then you went away. You weren't shy. You couldn't sway our beliefs. Oh boy. Wad? What is a wad? What, sir, is a wad? Got it. Bride. Dribble. Bribe. Yeah, bribe. Bribe, bribe. Linda Uribe, I hope you're all right. Hope he's okay. So, bridal. Do we do bride? I did. Bible, yeah. All right, well, I don't know where everybody is. You must all be watching election stuff, I would imagine. Let me see something. Yeah, everything that's live is election. I don't even remember other elections. I guess the last presidential election was 2020. I don't remember what we did that night. I don't remember it being that like this. I don't remember it being like this. There's only 34 watching Como News on it. 156 watching another news. Huh. Something's definitely whacked up with YouTube. 7 watching Entertainment Now. Yeah. I don't remember this on the 2020 election and what we did. Sean Diddy only has 290 watching him. Art of Handwork is live with 6 people watching. Christmas Fun is live with 4 people watching. 14 people are watching election night results live coverage. All right, I won't feel where the heck is my live? I don't even know where it is. Live. Over here, live. Oh my goodness. Oh, hi, Chris Ray. Let me just start up the Zoom. I guess I'll just start up a new Zoom. Well, I have a Zoom. I just have a Zoom. I just have a Zoom. I have a Zoom. I have a Zoom here. Let me just get it. There's something so wrong with all of my electronic stuff. It's so crazy. Now even like my Slack or something wants to be crazy. It's so nuts. I don't know. Everything is so crazy. Why am I like smack up here like this? It's not how it normally is. Even the Zoom is crazy. I don't know what is going on. I really have to take time tomorrow to try to get to, but I can't. I have to do other things. I said I was going to ship stuff out. I have time on that sponsored thing that I have to work on with the probiotics and stuff. That's, oh my gosh, it's like so crazy. Alright, let me see. I just put the Slack in here. That's the different Zoom. Copy. There we go. So I'll leave that on. And oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Hold on a minute. Excuse me. Bled, you said? Excuse me. Delhi, you say? Three. Trial I have there, don't I? Yeah. Huh. Did I hit enter on the What's up? Do you see the number in Slack? It's crazy. What's going on? I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. This is a madhouse. There's no Brie. It's not there. It's not there. All right. We got bread at the same time. That's crazy. We did it, we did it, we did it. We did it in a minute. Met. Oh, I tried that. And we. Huh. Amazing. Okay, let's see. Mania? It's a maniac. Main. Okay. Aim. Right. 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 Let me just check something. Hmm. Okay, let's see. I was just looking at something. I got into a vintage Christmas thing, and sorry, I got a little bit carried away. Shoot, shoot, shoot. All right. Okay, so now we go. We go. Where are you? Over here. Zag, you say? Zag, zag, zag. Sorry, I got involved in something. Zag is there. How about zig, zigzag? How about zigzag? No, that's not there. How about we get this last one over here? Manga? No. Again, again and again and again and again. That's it. Why didn't I see that? Thank you, Emmy. There we go. Let's see if I have the advancement. Oh no. We cannot. Can we? Okay. Oh, I don't know. I think I'm gonna call it a night, guys. I'm exhausted. Thanks for hanging out with me. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you. God bless. Prayers. And we'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.